Good morning. Did you know that your life's reality is really a direct result of the dreams that you act upon? So that means if you don't like where you are, you can actually decide to turn it all around right now, all on your own. So I spent a year being mentored by Tony Robbins as part of his Platinum Partnership, and I learned a tremendous amount. One of the key lessons was about how asking three questions would help me create my ideal form of life. He really impacted me and showed me how important it is for each of us to decide what to focus on in every moment of our life. This is because our decisions, not conditions or circumstances, are what ultimately determines our destiny. There are three decisions we're all making consciously or unconsciously. And when you're aware of these three decisions, you can actually strengthen your mental muscles, gain more focus, bring clarity into what you want, and it ultimately helps us simply create our ideal form of life. The decisions are really decided from how we answer these three simple questions. The first question is, what am I choosing to focus on? This is because what we choose to focus on affects our whole life. And unfortunately, most of us focus on what we fear. It seems to be the human condition. And this is because we have a 2 million-year-old brain, and that's designed to keep us safe and alert us of any danger. So what we focus on, we also feel, whether it's true or not. And as Tony says, where focus goes, energy flows. So what if you spent time focusing on gratitude or cultivating a growth mindset? The second question is, what does this mean? The meaning you assign to things will ultimately shape how you feel. It's our choice. It's our decision that defines if someone is criticizing us or instead offering valuable insights. And the most successful people in the world know that everything is happening for them, and they choose to make every experience work for them. This is done by focusing on creating a meaning that empowers you, and your brain will then find the resources to make it happen. The third question is, what am I going to do? How are you going to respond or take action? How are you going to grow from this opportunity, not challenge? So if you're angry, you know you're going to do something different than if you're feeling grateful. And the meaning we put on things has a profound impact on the actions we all take or don't take. Making accountable decisions helps you move from a world where other people are making decisions for you to a world where you're in control. And Tony has always taught me that my destiny is shaped by my decisions. And throughout a lifetime, we all make thousands of decisions. So, three questions that you answer daily that have a tremendous influence in the creation of your life's reality, both present and in the future. The truth is, it's up to you to control your focus and be clear on what dreams you act upon. It's up to you to decide if you're going to be angry, sad, or frustrated. Or you could choose to be grateful, joyful, or blessed. So one other quote I really like that fits with an attitude of gratitude is that today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. So what's the gift you want to give yourself right now that will direct and define your tomorrow? Life in the world today is full of uncertainty. And during unique times like these, we really need to choose if we're going to stand up and give ourselves a gift that will help us shift our meanings and our emotions to ultimately direct our motion forward toward the reality we want to create. So let's discuss with Bob today how our reality is really the results of the dreams we act upon. Even the smallest decision has the power to radically transform our life for the better. So, do you want to live a common or ordinary life or an extraordinary and uncommon form of life? So let's welcome Bob and begin our discussion about these three questions. What are you focused on today, Bob?
Well, good message, buddy. Great message. But I feel like crap. I've got no energy. I got a headache. I can't feel my fingers. My feet
Wow.
hurt. That's my
What
reality.
that's your reality.
Forget
So
about my dreams. Forget about my dreams. I'm dealing with right now.
that's good. That's good. So ultimately, right now, you've got a choice, right? As you said, what's causing you pain? Or what's the solution to it?
Okay, I'm just playing with you because you had an ultra positive message there. It was a great message. It was a great message. But I was just thinking about the complications of diabetes, the problems of diabetes, right? A lot of the people that will be watching this and listening to this are going to be in a spot of pain, mental pain, physical pain, anguish, and low energy, right? We know what happens when we're not eating right, we're not exercising, that we're just new diabetics. It's a struggle, man. It's a struggle. So
Well, that's the life goal, right? No matter what, whether we like it or not, this is a journey.
it
And
is.
right
It
now,
is.
in this moment, me living with type 1 diabetes, you with insulin resistance, or others that are in a different place on the spectrum of diabetes, it still comes down to question number one. What is it that we are choosing to focus on? Right?
Yeah, and that
So
when you're in
let's talk on
pain, yeah, well, that's it's an interesting question, right? And when you have an ailment, you can't do anything but focus on the ailment sometimes. And I think the message what you're saying is the ailment's there because of things, and we have to look beyond that and start moving towards a solution to the ailment. Often, when you have diabetes or you're living with diabetes, there's not just one ailment, there's several ailments. So it's really hard to get out of that place of pain or frustration or low energy to look beyond what you have to do. I want to share with you something, Bud, that this is your Diabetes Canada says that when you get diabetes, here's what they want you to do. They want you to find a family doctor. Many Canadians don't have a family doctor. Then they want you to find a diabetes educator. Partner up with your endocrinologist, get a pharmacist, a social worker, an exercise physiologist, a psychologist, a foot care specialist, and an eye care specialist. That's Diabetes Canada's suggestions for people that have diabetes. That's the starting point.
You know, Bob, the truth is that diabetes can be a very overwhelming diagnosis. Um, Having been through that in a dramatic way, as you know, when I was diagnosed and they came out of a coma from it, that's basically what I was told. I was at St. Paul's Hospital and they said, well, welcome to diabetes. You now need an entire team because this is not going to be an easy journey. And I had a great doctor, but now you're right. I have an endocrinologist. I go to the eye doctor at least, once a year. If for a lot of type 2s and pre-diabetics, they'll have foot and peripheral vascular conditions that will cause ulcers and infections in the feet and hands. So people actually, 70% of all amputations are related to diabetes. So this is not an easy thing, and we need a team. That's why I always have this saying, together we can, right? Is that you need a medical team when you have a serious chronic condition.
Yeah.
But the real truth is, what good are they if you're not focused on what results that you want to get in this journey? Do you just want to stay where you're at, do what you always have done to get where you actually are at the moment? Or are you going to say, I'm changing. I am going to learn. I'm going to get around people, right, that have traveled the road before.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's an important part of our focus in life?
No, and that's why I loved your message this morning, is that beyond the pain, beyond the challenges that we face, like high blood pressure and heart disease blindness and amputations, right? Those are the risks. Stroke's a huge one for people with diabetes, right?
And
These
more
are
than
the
that,
things. Pardon?
and even more than that, you're talking about the brain there with the stroke. Well, guess what? Leading cause now, they're almost in the science journals that I've read calling dementia and Alzheimer's type 3.
Well, yeah, exactly.
The leading cause of them is insulin resistance in the brain.
89%, according to the CDC, 89% of type 1 diabetics are overweight or obese. And massive challenge, right? Massive challenges. But beyond that, beyond the fear of the conditions that could come or upon us, is the potential for change. And we're working now with people, you and I are working with people right now that experience radical change by altering their eating habits, by altering their exercise habits, by getting more balance in their lives. We've been seeing phenomenal change in people almost instantaneously by simply doing a few very important but not commonly understood things. And that's what I think your talk at the beginning was talking about, is there's a bigger dream here, is to become the person that you could become, the person that perhaps you were, or the physical improved person and a mentally improved person by doing some important things.
So I think that's a really important point that we should just have before we finish up answering this question. And it comes back to focus is really a mental mindset and intentional shift. And to hit the target, just as you know, in the slide that we're showing right now, it requires focus to hit the bullseye. And some days we're lucky to even hit the target. But the fact is that we need to be focused on the results that we want to achieve. And that means getting around people that have journeyed before us, getting that education, the training, and the mentorship that's available through programs such as ours. And we're not the only one, but we are definitely a leading provider of education, training, and mentorship for people living with and impacted by diabetes.
You know, in our last meeting that we just had a couple of days ago with our group, one of the things that struck me as we were talking together and learning together was the laughter. People laughed. There was so much kibitzing and fun and laughter. I think that was like at least 50% of the meeting was just people connecting with other people with diabetes and just enjoying each other's company. And I think that's there's lots of studies that show when you laugh, it's an amazingly healthy thing to do. When there's joy in your life, it's a healing process. And so I think bringing people together that have common challenges is a brilliant thing to do.
You know what? I really love how you just worded that. And I think it's summarized by this. We're actually turning probable into possible. There is no limit on what we can achieve. We first have to believe it. And I think that's part of where we're going here with the next question, right? We first have to believe it. So where does the belief come from? It's really the meanings we put on it. So first we got to be focused on improvement, on education, on training, on learning how to shift our focus, our mindset, the intention that we're going to learn and know that we can do this and that together we can do it even better. Because I don't know what you know. I don't know what anyone that we're working with knows, but it goes in the reverse. And together we're developing this mindset that where I'm at, the probable outcome is destined where I'm sitting because of what I've done. The probable outcome is that if I continue to do what I've always done, I'm going to probably get what I've always got. However, if we're willing to do what we weren't willing to do before, it's possible that we're going to transform our entire life. And that starts with, I think, question number 2. And why number 2 is so important is what is the meaning that we're choosing to put on things? So what are your thoughts around meaning and belief, Bob?
Well, let's just talk about some of the people that we're meeting with, Bud. One of the uh, people join us because they have specific challenges, right? Control your blood sugar on a daily basis much better, lower your A1C, lose weight, get more energy. So these are very common.
Gain strength.
Gain strength, common things that people want to do. There's many reasons why they join, but I mean, it starts with that focus of I believe that I can control my blood sugars. I believe I can permanently lose 50 pounds. These are things that people have to take that step and say, I want to try it. I want to do it. Even though I've tried it before and it hasn't worked, I'm going to try it again. So that's the belief factor, right? And then when you believe something, when you actually believe it, then your potential rises. So your potential is only the level that your belief is at. If you believe you can't do something, you can't lose 20 pounds, then that's your potential. You're not going to lose the 20 pounds. And
that's what we talk a lot about, is how our words, right, really are showing what's in the content of our heart and our belief structure. And what we put after I am, and we talk about this a lot, and it's just a small shift, but it changes the belief. I am strong versus, oh, I'm weak and I'm in pain. No, I'm capable. I'm able to begin taking one step, 2 steps, and then create a consistent pattern that will create big results through small steps.
How many diabetics just feel lousy every day? They just feel low energy, just feel sick every freaking day, right? We become immune to it. It's just part of our lives. And that's a common experience for diabetics.
We're talking to literally hundreds of people every week right now. And from this, I would say the 3 main things that most of the people we're talking to are: first, fatigue, lack of energy. And energy is life at the end of the day. That desire, it affects us physically, mentally, and emotionally. And diabetes has a significant impact, if mismanaged, on mental health.
Right.
2, blood sugar control. Why? They've come to the awareness that when their sugars are high, fatigue increases. When sugars are high, their eyesight gets blurred. When sugars are high, they put on weight, and so on and so forth.
That's the short-term implications of high blood sugar, right?
We're not talking about fatty liver disease. We're not talking about kidney failure. We're not talking about blindness or amputation. We're talking about just the small symptoms of why. But the truth is, if you continue in diabetes with this, what has been done, or the common things that people are doing that end up in the type 2 diabetes world, it's very predictable. You will eventually lose your eyesight. You will have a high chance of amputation of toes and or legs. And I've seen them all. You will increase and be the statistic of heart disease, stroke, early onset of dementia and Alzheimer's. These are nasty, nasty consequences of poor diabetes management. But
not to mention dying a decade sooner than you have to, right?
Yeah. My endocrinologist tells me, I was in just a month or so ago, and we were talking, and he goes, Heath, you're in the 0.0001% of non-diabetic people in health. But how do you do it? Like, what is it? And every time he's asking me about, how are you managing your insulin so tightly? How do you do this? And it comes back to routines. But really, the real issue was, it came from a belief. It's a meaning that I've put into my life that says, I am accountable for myself.
Yeah.
I am not going to play the blame game. I am going to be accountable, and I'm going to create meanings. I get to choose what I think. I get to choose how I feel.
Yeah.
One of the best stories Tony ever says, I call it the geese, the flock of geese story. And it's these geese are flying by. And we in life, those geese represent thoughts. And as those thoughts are coming into our brain, we're not in control of those thoughts. But like any hunter, we are in control of which of the geese we grab. And we can do catch and release. We can go, oh, that's not an effective meaning. That's not moving me towards my goal. I'm letting that one go. But what do we do quite often? We use this cycle that we have up on the screen right now in the negative form. And we're going as a diabetic, oh, I'm overweight, I'm tired, I can't, I'm fat, I'm lazy, I'm not motivated. All this language, right, is enforcing a belief that then inspires us to feel. So potential in our feelings, our quality of life is really about how we feel in life, right? And that feeling then promotes action of whether do we get up off the couch and go for a walk, or I get out of bed this morning, I was tired, right? I still got up and went for my walk to start my day, right? I followed my rituals, my routines that got me going, and the energy I felt afterwards, and then the focus on prep for this show today, and so on and so forth. But those feelings can transform our life, and they're a choice. That's what I spoke about at the beginning. It led to an action. That action created a result of more energy, positive thoughts and feelings flooded, and I chose to focus on the attitude of gratitude, which therefore transformed my mindset and my actions. Does that make sense?
Well, it does make sense. It's so important that this is not, when you look at the image that's on the screen, this is sort of a big picture thing. Like your belief leads to your potential, leads to action, and goes to results.
Right.
But it's a daily thing too. It's an hourly thing too. So it's how we feel this hour. Are we going to go out? Are we going to eat properly? What's your belief right now? Are we going to have some chocolate right now? Are we going to take some time and prepare something that's really good for us? We're going to grab a bag of chips. Are we going to stop at Tim Hortons and grab a croissant, right? A cheese croissant because we're starving? Or are we going to actually find a place that actually will feed us properly? That's the very first red thing, right? That's the belief. I've got to have good food right now. I know I'm starving, but I've got to have good food.
Isn't it amazing how last week we were doing our sessions with the group, and some of the comments that were made was I can't believe by changing that one thing, we just substituted one thing in the diet, and this particular uncommon diabetic decided to change that one thing. That one change in meal, that substitution, changed their blood sugar and brought them right into range in the morning, and they've never understood why they couldn't. That's the awareness, right? The meaning. They thought that what they were doing was right, but when they opened up and asked, they were given some other things, and then they chose to try.
Right.
And boom, the result was transformative. And
for that not only that day, but every other day of the week. Just absolutely. Boom. Every morning now is a good morning sugar-wise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then that's led to a second small step and a third. And this gentleman lost 8 pounds last week, right? And his energy has gone from being in the chair, and talking to us. He's laid back. I'm tired. I can't. He actually had serious blood pressure issues and had to go into the hospital. To now, he's leaning forward. He goes, I can't wait to get here. And what's happening? And the whole shift in his personality and his confidence is directly related to that shift of meaning, that related to how he's felt, and he's taking steps that he didn't even think were possible. He changed probable to possible.
The interesting thing that we do, Bud, so really good, I think, is there's really a finite number of lessons that you've learned. Like you and I have actually spent some time on this, and have got so many things to teach others about diabetes, right? But it's a limited number of things, and I know I'm not sure what the total number is, but I would say it's somewhere between 100 and 300 little bits of information that once you get that information, your life massively changes. It's not even getting it in a specific structured order. It's like it's piecing together this puzzle. Ah, this instead of that. Ah, that makes sense. These little pieces of information. I think the number's between 1 and 300. And that's really what we do during our courses and our sessions is pass on that information in a structured, progressive way. But anybody can come in at any time and get a piece of information that I think would dramatically alter their days, their routines, their habits, and really be helpful.
Well, you've nailed it on the head. And so here's an example with me. Type 1 diabetic, Chris Jarvis, Canadian Olympian, runs I Challenge Diabetes that we partner with. And last summer, we'll be doing it again this summer, we were through the Rocky Mountains on a week, 100-pound backpack on our back, and taking a young group of diabetics and quite a diverse group, but through the Rockies. How were they able to do that? It wasn't a one-day, one-and-done thing. It became, what am I going to do to achieve that? And everybody's ultimate goal starts with the shift of focus and understanding, then to a replacing of old beliefs and meanings with new ones, that probable to possible, and then they begin the journey. And some of these people had never even gone on a walk, for more than 10 kilometers in their life. And now we're talking about doing 17 to 20 kilometers a day with a backpack on your back. That process, though, began with just the first step. And we set actions in place that are sustainable and applicable to each person where they are at now. Because we assess where is each person at. Then we define. Now we're not lost anymore. We know the truth. From that truthful point, we can project where we want to go. And then we work out this map of key actions that we can do. But the real question is, what are you guys going to do that are watching this? What is it that you want in your life? Right? Are you willing to journey together? That's it. Because I've spent 30 years almost trying to figure this out. The beauty of our foundations program is I can teach you the 4 pillars, and within 3 months, you don't have to go through all the ups, the downs, the misses, the mistakes, the fails, I can go on with the list. We can short circuit this whole thing in a really science-backed way of group transformational learning. So, Bob, can you just touch on that a little bit?
Well, I was just thinking about that list that Diabetes Canada wanted a new diabetic to get, right? The psychologist, the exercise specialist, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's what we provide is we provide a support system for much of that. Of course, you'll always want your doctor and endocrinologist, right? And you want your specialist in your life too. But I think that's what Uncommon Diabetic does best is brings together big parts of that. So you have your team here, but you're not doing it by yourself. That's the big thing is you meet new friends for life, and people that are going through the same thing you're going through. So you have access to expertise, but you also have access to people that can support you and share their stories, and you get a chance to share yours too. It's very powerful stuff.
No, it's so true. It's so true. So my question to our viewers today is, what are you going to do? Are you going to continue to do what you've always done and get the results that you've always got? Because what I've learned in my life, if I'm willing to do what others won't do, then I'm going to get what others won't get. And my biggest lesson of all is getting into the proximity of people that have traveled the road before me. because that's really what the difference between coaching and mentoring is. What I did, as I shared with you at the beginning of this, is I went and spent a year being mentored by Tony Robbins. And he's just one of the people that I've been mentored by. And he's totally transformed being in his proximity and all the people that were there. My mindset, the way I think about things, I definitely am a possible mindset now. He changed my view in all the 4 pillars. What I thought about nutrition, what I think about my exercise, what I think about my recovery. All these 4 pillars that we've built on are the sum of my almost 30 years of living with diabetes, of Bob's life of adventure and his journey. And I can go through the list of other experts that we have on our team. But the point is, we have a team that together we can create a routine and a pattern that you can create that's going to transform your life. Bob, maybe speak, what are your thoughts on that? Just the whole power of routine and the power of these small steps, right, that we do with people that makes the transformation go along quite smoothly.
Well, I think that a lot of people are lost because they're not sure what to do. They've got diabetes. They've been doing a whole bunch of stuff, but it hasn't worked. I'm still obese. I'm still overweight. My energy's still down. So what, I've been on the internet for dozens or hundreds of hours, and I've tried this and I've tried that, but it still hasn't worked. So I think you need some sound advice. I think people, the first thing to do is find someone who can share with you what they've done in the past that's really fixed it for them. But to do that, you got to find someone who's been fixed, right? That has somehow done it themselves. That's why it'd be really good to reach out to you, Heath. I know you're available at any time. Just go to uncommondiabetic.com. You can reach out to Heath, and he'll chat with you, and he's there so you can transform, so you can get a plan together for the mornings, because I think that's what we do is this day-to-day basis. It starts with the mornings, goes to the afternoons and the evenings, and it's repeat. Every day is different in one way or another, but that's what we want. Is we want to get that those daily rituals and routines down pat. What they are, though, is largely built on who you are. We're all unique people, so you do need a bit of a plan, but you do need help too. So maybe it's your doctor, maybe it's your endocrinologist, but maybe it's Heath. Give a shout out, reach out, and see what help you can get from somebody who's been there before.
Bob, I appreciate that. I can say one thing is that I hear a lot of people saying, I've tried everything. It doesn't work. Yeah. The truth is, you haven't tried everything.
But everybody that comes,
and you have, and what I'm saying is that, how do we transform that?
Yeah. But everybody that comes into our group says that, right? They all say, I'm at my wit's end. I've tried this all before, right? And the truth is they haven't.
No.
Because they don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. And everything in life has shown me you can try, and I don't even like the word try. You can do one more thing. We can
one
do
smart thing. One correct
thing. Exactly. So, this is really it. I really want to thank you for joining me today, Bob, and just having the discussion on these 3 questions, sharing, the power of belief and meaning that we put on things. Where's that focus going? What's the meaning that we're taking from that? Is it a victim mindset that's below the line, that's always blame and I can't and all that? Or is it above the line, accountable, right? And I've talked today a little bit about our ideal form of life, but everything for me, being an ex-policeman, is acronyms. So ideal is I am accountable. I can change. It is possible. 2D is we can dream. We can decide. That's what I spoke about earlier. And ultimately do and live the life that we want. But we have to do E, which means eliminate everything that stops us from doing what we want to do. Mm-hmm. How do we do that? We automate. We create routines that become simple and clear. And then lastly, We live and we learn, right? There is no fail. There's just a fantastic adventure in learning. Much more fun, as you said, when we're doing it together. When you can learn from my almost 30 years. And I can honestly say, I still haven't found many people that can outdo what I do at 53 as a type 1 diabetic. And I can help with that. I can help you get to where you want to go. So
the answer is reach out. So the answer is reach out. Reach out to somebody and say, hey, I'm struggling with this problem, whatever the issue is, and don't give up. Don't give up until you find that person that can help, or those people or that group that can help, right?
Yeah.
And just take action. This is your life. There's nothing more important right now. I know you're counting on it. You're counting on getting to better, whoever's listening, but your wife's counting on it. Your kids are counting on it. Your brothers, sisters, your extended family is all counting on you taking care of yourself. So take some action.
So if you are a person that is living with diabetes or impacted by diabetes, I really want you to understand that you're not alone. There's over 11 million people in Canada, 122 million people in the US, and so on. It's a crazy number that's growing. And through this pandemic, it's staggering. It's going over 33% of the population now. But here's the point. We can do this together. So what I really want to do is I want you to know that together we can. I want to invite you. I really want to invite you to journey with us and build your uncommon diabetic life. Build the foundations of health. Together we can create your map. That's a massive action plan to build the foundations that are going to improve your energy and health starting now. Our UD Foundations program and community are going to provide you with revolutionary and science-based approach towards your diabetic health. We're going to help you consistently take those small steps that's going to create the big results. Lowering your A1C, helping you lose weight. You're going to gain strength. You're going to improve your ability to live your ideal form of life. So just click the link below and book a free health strategy session with me. Reach out. I want to thank you for joining us today. And just remember, click the subscribe button and bell so you don't miss any episodes of UDTV. But most importantly, remember, you're not alone. Together we can create your success formula so you can live your uncommon diabetic life. And I look forward to meeting you in your free health strategy session. So until next time, be uncommon.